Okay, so looking at the UDHR, we're going to start looking at the first half of the UDHR, which covers these three, kind of four sections. We have fundamental rights, the rights in the courtroom, civil rights, and then political rights. So if we look at fundamental rights, there are four of them here. Article 2 is non-discrimination, and when you look at that, you can see that non-discrimination is not having any of your rights discriminated against. So you can't have your, say, freedom of expression not being available because of your gender or your ethnicity. Okay, and in the actual UDHR itself, you'll see those various grounds for distinction that are not allowed, say sex, colour, national origin, and so on. Okay, non-discrimination is Article 2. Then Article 3, the right to life. When we look at ICCPR, we'll look at in more detail about limits to that around things like limiting the death penalty. But the right to life here, strictly speaking, is your right to not have your life arbitrarily taken. Your life can be taken by a court or by law. For example, acts of self-defense or in a battlefield, or in police in having an arrest and doing that legally. But arbitrarily means without law, your life can't be taken. Article 4 is on slavery. You can't be held in slavery or servitude, and the slavery should be prohibited. Article 5 is torture, and Article 6 is a person before the law. What this person before the law means is that the law sees all humans as humans. Because we know in terms of legal personality, say a cat has a different personality than a human. A cat can't marry, the rights of cats are much limited. So, you can put your cat down, but you can't, say, put your, your friends down. It's against the law because there are different legal personalities for cats. But a person before the law means that all humans should be seen as humans. They can't be treated as objects or animals, okay? Now, around the world, every kind of legal system kind of considers humans as humans. Though sometimes it may be that if you're a non-citizen or if you're, say, a female in Saudi Arabia, you're not quite given equality before the law. Or in some cases, you may argue you're not kind of considered a person before the law. You're considered a subject of someone else. That's fundamental rights. Next, we have rights in the court system. And just briefly, these are that everyone should be equal before the law. That means the law treats you equally in terms of protection and in punishment. Everyone should have access to justice or a right to an effective remedy. So you should be able to have the justice system resolve your disputes. There shouldn't be any arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. Now, the word arbitrary means kind of without law or without reason. So you can't be just arrested for no reason. That has to be done through the law. You can't be kept in jail for no reason. There should be, a legal process to keep you there. Everyone has the right to a fair and public hearings. This is about a fair trial, Article 10. And a fair trial has lots of different elements. We may get a chance to look at those next week. But a fair trial means that things like the judge is fair, you have time to kind of get your defense, it's timely, it doesn't take too long, and there's no bias in the court system. And then Article 11, the presumption of innocence. Everyone should be considered innocent until proven guilty. Many challenges to this in East and Southeast Asia, where court systems often assume that people are guilty, or they treat people as guilty beforehand. But the basic standard is that you should be treated as innocent until you are proven guilty. Okay, next we have civil rights. And civil rights is seen to be that set of rights which are kind of about how people can function in society in a polite and civilized way. This is rights to privacy, freedom of movement, which is both movement in the country and movements between countries. The movements between countries are kind of limited. You have the right to leave any country and you've got the right to return only to your own country. So you've only got the right to enter your own country. Refugee rights, or as written here, the right to seek and enjoy asylum in countries. The right to a nationality, or your citizenship. And the right to marry and have children, and the various rights in marriage, such as equality in marriage and divorce, and those other rights in marriage. The right to own property, which is a very long-standing right. Freedom of religion, and then freedom of expression are the other ones that make up civil rights. Then finally, we have political rights. So political rights do include the freedom of expression, Article 19, but also the rights to peaceful assembly, which means the rights to kind of protest in public, and the rights to association, or the rights to form groups, whether those groups are political groups or trade unions or social unions or just social groups. Then in terms of your political rights, you have a right to take part in government, which kind of means you've got a right to be a politician. You know, that can be limited. Or you've got a right to, you know, elect or vote or choose a representative. You should have rights to access public service, which means a right to, say, either become a teacher or a fireman, or the right to get driver's licenses and things like that. And then the last one is basically the rights to vote. It doesn't actually say you've got a right to democracy, but it says that your right to political participation should be expressed in elections, which kind of means democracy. Okay, and that ends the section on fundamental courts, civil and political rights.